Is it what crazy or autocracy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, trading looters that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth. Whatever it is that will bring our military to disrepute, I said to hell.
On Core Digest,
I want to know why I should be believing them.
every weekday, we bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody have your right in Nigeria.
Where you are the judge.
Thank you so very much for staying with us. On the course of the show, it's still Core Digest on Core TV News. And like I said before the break, we're looking at something that affects us as Nigerians and as people who want progress in this part of the world. And we're looking at Nigeria on check, change and progress. That's a very big question that I'm pushing out to you watching me right now and the whole of Nigerians across board, saying if Nigeria is really progressing, as we actually voted for a change administration at the 2015 general election. And discussing this topic with me is a media practitioner who has worked in the media for a good number of years, is actually a veteran media practitioner. Her name is Omobolanle Dabiri. Good morning.
Morning.
It's nice having you on the show today.
Nice being here.
All right, now as we look at the change matter, the change administration and the things we see developing, you know, the president has the end of this month to appoint members of his cabinet, I mean the ministers. And so he has said that, the DSS rightly said that they are screening the nominees of the president. And so for you, what are the qualities you hope to see in this appointees or those who will eventually be appointed as ministers in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. The qualities that they should have or that Nigerians are expecting can be said to be personified in the president. Forthrightness, being focused. You know, you hit the ground running. We want somebody that will tell us we're getting to this place and we'll, by, let's say, if he's been in the office, let's say in the last 100 days, we have seen a whole lot of changes. So we have a good president who has a good precedence. He has been here before, and we know what he can do. And he's still the same person. Let's say, I want to give an adage now. If you broke your leg and you broke a bone, you fell and broke a bone, and then it was not set properly, and there is need for you to go back and reset the crooked leg. There will be need for a professional to first break the bone again before they reset it properly. So there will be pains. You will go through a whole lot of things. And if we're going to have ministers, we should have people who are forthright.
Now, you're speaking
honesty is very important.
Forthright and honesty, people who have those qualities. But some school of thought will say there are really no saints in Nigeria, and so the president shouldn't really take so much time in looking for those who have all the qualities of uprightness, honesty. What do you have to say about that?
I will disagree. Why should somebody say the president should not look for people who... We are looking at their qualifications. Definitely it will be there. But there is need to have people who can do the work.
Do you think there are saints in Nigeria who would fill up?
We have them. They are not saints. But we have people who we can classify as near saints. But because of the prevalent situation in the past, they had to keep quiet and keep their peace. And if you look well in the right direction, you'll definitely get the right kind of people you want. Like attracts like. The president will never work with a person who does not have some of his qualities. I am 100% sure of that.
Now, you sound very convinced and confident about the president of Nigeria, but a school of thought will say they are really not impressed with what the president has done. in the last 100 days. So
those school of thoughts are the, well, I call them now, the Hydra-headed monsters. Those who are just here to gulp everything that Nigeria has. Nigeria is blessed. We're supposed to be far, far ahead in terms of being the leader of African countries. Nigeria used to be called the giant of Africa. In the 70s, we had a whole lot of good things. I was lucky, I'm still very lucky to still be around. I have experience of both Muritala Mohammed and Obasanjo, and a whole lot of things were very, First Stack Nigeria was very beautiful, peaceful, constant power supply. You go about your business, no harassment. Go to the National Stadium there then. You have the hot water, you have the cold water, you have everything running perfectly because our leaders were doing what they were expected to do. We can still achieve that. I do not believe in the school of thought that says the president is not doing anything. He's doing a lot. I can say that because in recent past, we all know, we were all queuing at the filling stations. You know, you buy fuel for your car, you buy fuel for your generator. There was no hope of electricity. But at least nowadays, in my own area, we can boast of, at least in the last 1 month, 20 hours power supply of electricity. Steadily. That's an improvement. And that is a change. And then there is the issue of those who want to suck the government dry, not being able to come forward. They are the ones agitating on the ground, subtly, because they can't come out to say it. How many people can come out to say, yes, I don't believe in this man? If somebody is working and you are seeing the results, is there any other way to say, yes, at least I've seen something? Or you just deny not seeing anything?
We have someone who has come out to say is really not impressed with the person of Ayodele Fayose, the governor of Ekiti State. He's clearly saying it's not impressed with the president's fight against corruption. It's merely whistleblowing. And so what do you have?
In my own opinion, Ayodele Fayose, I will not regard him, in my own personal opinion, as a sane person. He is an exceptional case. And of course, he belongs to the opposition. And if he's lucky to be in power, or of course, they want to speak up for his own set of ideals and people. Everybody cannot agree with the president. But if we are talking about 100% and you have over 80% agreeing with the president, what else are we looking at?
80%. How accurate is your statistics?
It's an estimation. I'm not saying it's exactly accurate. We're talking about somebody who is voicing a strong opposition to the president's ideals. That's just 1 out of 100.
And now the governor of Ekiti State is calling at this time that in the president's fight against corruption, that is really not saying so much about the Aliborton scandal, which the last administration started up.
The president, President Muhammadu Buhari, before his accession to this position, a whole lot of things had been said. That is going to be vindictive, his government will be a government of vengeance, and a whole lot of things. And there is no harm in being cautious. You take one step at a time, and as it comes. Uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. He who wears the shoes knows where he pinches. The man is the one sitting on the hot seat. And a whole load of clamor is in his head. He sorts it out at his own pace. Of course, a whole lot of people have said he's a go-slow president, he's this and that. But the end will definitely justify the means. For me personally, I would say I want Muhammadu Buhari to still be there for 2 terms. Because I know we will see the palpable change. He has not spent 6 months, and we are seeing some changes. Compared to the doldrum we were, stagnancy, we're just there, existing in limbo. And then you have somebody that can, create a bit of ruckus. Let's see what he can do.
Okay. Now, with the war against corruption, which is started already, and with what we see in the pages of newspaper, those who have been invited for questioning, do you see it as tilting towards something positive, or are you seeing anything that would actually go
I
wrong?
see it tilting towards the positive, not the negative. Because if the torch is being beamed at the nooks and crannies of corruption, those who had committed the offense will sit up. Those who still have the intention of committing fresh offenses will check themselves. It's a way of telling the people or sending out a signal to say, you need to beware. You mind your utterance, you mind your actions, you mind even your intentions that is not known to the public. Because intention is what begets the action. You have the intention of doing something, it is all you carry through. If I have the intention of being a local government chairman, and I just want to go there and, take all the money, pack them home, that's what I will work towards. And I will not mind paying any amount of money to get to that position, because I know I would still, recoup my money back. But if I know that even if I become the local government chairman, there are so many stringent measures that would not enable me to just keep packing the money home, I might not be interested.
Now, do you see the president's plan of probing the last administration as a plot to ridicule the past administration? That's coming from the governor of Ekiti, saying it's just clearly ridiculing what the past government has done. Do you see that as...
There should be checks and balances. Checks and balances means you have to, visit the past to actualize the future. If the man does not, check what's been done before his own accession to the position, how is he going to put in the necessary improvements or policies? There is no way there won't be probe. But it's just a matter of one opposition to the other. When the opposition now were the ruling party, of course, naturally, the ruling party now was in the same position of criticism. They criticize everything. So now it's a natural thing. The president will make moves to probe. And it's very, very necessary. Prior to now, we were living, eating, breathing corruption. Everybody, even to a child that was born yesterday. Corruption had eaten deep into every one of us. I am not excluding myself. I'm not even excluding you. We just need somebody to bring us back to the right track. And that will be done in the most stringent way. All necessary measures that needs to be taken will be taken. There was a time when this current president was the military head of state. We do everything with the thoughts of, if you take a step out of turn, you'll be dealt with. And we need it. Nigerians need it. If we are not handled the proper way, the corruption will keep festering, as in it has become the order of the day.
Talking of being handling the proper way, that was the military regime and this is democracy.
Yes.
And so do you see a playback of what happened then now?
I do not see a playback, because there are marked differences. A military ruler can be a dictator, but a democratically elected president must consider the fact that he got to that position by the power of the people. And now, Nigerians are wiser. We grow wise every day. You have the power. You use your vote to put who you want on the seat. And it should always take into cognizance the fact that Nigerians can rise up in protest.
Now, when the president promised when he was going to be elected that he was going to declare his assets publicly, and we saw him declare his assets and that of the vice president just as they marked 100 days in office. But the asset declaration has actually raised a whole lot of controversy. While some say, okay, it's good, he declared his assets, others are saying they're not clearly impressed that the assets he declared, and saying that it's simply playing to the gallery. What do you have to say?
Well, I seem to be on the side of the president. You cannot please the world. We were clamoring for the president and the vice to declare their assets. It took time, but they did the declaration. And now some school of thought are complaining that, are you sure that is the whole
All
load
he
of
has.
things? He has. Some were even raising the issue of his 27 million naira something form for presidential bid. Right now, what I was worth a year ago might not be what I am worth right now. You understand? Even in stock and everything. Then, his worth might have changed. He might have, go up or come down. He has declared what he has. Let those critics go and beam their own searchlight on the nooks and crannies. If they find anything wanting, let them come up with it with substantive evidence to prove that, yes, the president didn't actually declare all his assets.
Now, do you see governors and other public officials taking the cue?
They have to. That is what Nigerians demand. They have to take the cue. Like I have said, I must be prepared to let the whole world know, the whole of Nigerians, they should know what I am worth if I want to run for a public office. I chose to be in the public office because we are talking of being elected. You are not being appointed. So everything that comes with it, you just have to abide by it. They definitely must take the cue. I don't see any governor escaping declaring his assets under this regime. I do not think that will work.
All right, now, while the war against corruption is still ongoing, corruption really doesn't only mean someone stealing, it also means that one doing the right thing at the right time.
Yes.
And so we've seen lately that across states and even at the federal level, there's been some reforms in the civil service and those handling some things. And so with the recent body language, do you think the civil service is up to reshaping itself from what it used to be?
Definitely. The civil service from the federal level, state level, even down to the local government level, everybody knows that the time we are now, you must sit up and stay in line with this present regime. And we need it. If I need something in the ministry now, and I get to the office around 9:30, 10, the person to attend to me is here to get to the office. What does that mean? There had been so much decadency in the ministries, in the civil service generally. But now they know it's no child's play. They know that the president we have does not suffer fools gladly. As far as I am concerned, we need it and we must have it, whichever way it's coming.
Now, speaking of the civil service, some civil servants will say that the situation they are now is a far cry from what it used to be. And so they blamed inadequate provision of the materials they need, poorly managed structures, and so should the civil servants be blamed for not being at their best with a healed, provided facility where they work in?
The civil servants are not to be blamed. We were talking about corruption in the past that was prevalent in the country before now. It starts from the leadership. When you have a ministry head who is supposed to disburse the funds given to him to sub-heads, directors, and all the others, HODs, or he sits on it or keeps the money in his account, and those ones can't work. In turn, the directors, HODs will devise means of acquiring money with their position. That's how the corruption festered, and that's how it set in. But if the government is prepared to supply the needs of the civil servants, and they are being given orientation, training, and a whole lot of things, of course we'll have the right kind of people in the civil service. I'm not blaming them. I was once a civil servant. I cannot blame them. If my boss is supposed to give me my impress at the end of the month, like let's say I'm supposed to collect 100,000 as my impress. Impress means the money you use to run the office. But I have been expecting this money. It's not forthcoming. So I'll devise other means of, getting money to do what's supposed to be done. I can tax the people that will come to my office because I know it will not get done from the top. And I need to keep the office running because I'll get blamed for not running the office.
Now, there's been an allegation that civil servants are lazy and largely very corrupt. Do you agree to that?
That's a dicey question you've asked me. I cannot claim that they are lazy or they're not lazy. If there is a job to be done and you have the right kind of boss, one, you are in the right state of mind, you are satisfied with the conditions of your service, you'll perform. But in a situation we have let me use a local government as an example. The local government, there are supposed to be contracts that should be executed by, politicians and a whole load of things. And there are some that should be executed by the civil servants. If I am an information officer in the local government and we have the traditional rulers having a meeting, I must coordinate alongside the chieftaincy officer of the local government. Mine is to supply the public address system, set up the place, make the announcements, ensure it gets to the right media, invite the right kind of. But if the job had been taken over from me by a politician that is close to the chairman, who has been given the contracts, that, okay, go, consultancy, bring the media people, you do this, I have been rendered useless. Of course, I'll just sit and look because the power that be at play, and I cannot talk.
Are you saying there's no way of seeking redress?
There is now. We now have, yes, there is a way. But when there was prevalent corruption, it gets nowhere. You can, write your petition, it gets nowhere. But now, the head of departments, the director in the ministry, knows that the office assistant can pass through other channels to lay their complaints. And it gets to the right authority. So when there are checks and balances, everybody sits up from the top to the bottom.
Okay, now we just looked at corruption cases and all the things. Let's now look at the fight against Boko Haram insurgent. What would be your comment to the recent activities on the war front by the military?
I will say I will give kudos to them because the president promised that they will hit the ground running, which they did. The right troop was seconded to the base and they've been going round and giving reports. They have been doing a whole lot of activities. But we just pray that we get the results, as in the appropriate expected result at the end of all the actions.
Recently they intercepted some local suppliers of the Boko Haram insurgent, and while some would clearly argue that the Boko Haram fight is political, do you see it that way, or do you have any way you look at the Boko Haram insurgency?
We have had over 500 days of this Boko Haram issue, and everybody has been saying, some people, school of thought, have alluded it to political, blackmail. Others have alluded it to being real. But whatever it is, be it that it's got political undertones, be it that the insurgents decided to play the game this way, I cannot claim total knowledge of whether it's political or not. The most important thing about this insurgent case is for it to be solved. Let's have peace. Let Boko Haram cease to exist. Because as long as everybody has this thought that Boko Haram is still in existence, the fear will be there. I will not want my own child to serve NYSC is or NYSC time anywhere near Maiduguri, all those Boko Haram areas. No, I won't. If I still know that it is yet to be eroded. That is my own thoughts. Let's have an end to the insurgent case. Leave political undertones aside. Whatever it is, it should just cease to exist so that we can continue to have a peaceful environment and coexistence.
Now, having a peaceful environment, the previous administration actually had it really tough with the insurgents, and just some weeks to the election, we saw the military saying they've taken over some territories from the Boko Haram, they've killed some insurgents, and now with the new administration, do you see them having enough political will to end in this menace?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
Because I believe so much in the leadership. And I know that President Muhammadu Buhari will never say what he will not do.
How sure are you?
Of course, he had been a ruler in the past. If you are passionate about a cause, you go all out to achieve it. You do everything within your power and means to ensure you have your ideal setting. And that is the kind of man he is. I think in the president's head, he has this pre-Festac 77 Nigeria that had peaceful coexistence. And he's passionate about this cause. That's why he's being tagged with so many names. If I'm passionate about a cause, I wouldn't mind anything. I will not even mind whose ox is God. I just want to achieve what I believe in. And I'll do everything possible if I have the means and power to do it. And that is just it.
Now, when we speak of change, the likelihood of some things changing. And when things change, it changes for good for some people, while it changes for very negative for others. So looking at the totality of the population, do you think Nigerians are really ready for change when it comes to killing corruption?
Yes.
When it comes to doing things the right way, do you think Nigerians are really prepared for this?
From my own viewpoint, yes. Because we have had it up to here. You need to understand one thing. Corruption was at the highest level and at every level of our existence in Nigeria. You don't get anything done without bribing. You don't get anything done without having a godfather. That was very bad. You have a child whom you have sent to a private university with your money, hard-earned money, and the child graduates. But because you do not know anybody up there, maybe the child graduated with a 2-1, with a first class, but you don't know anybody. And the child just ends up just sleeping and waking up, applying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. That can be very perplexing, as in it can make you go bonkers. For a parent who has, taken the time, spent his or her money to develop a child, educate a child. That's one example. But because you don't know any godfather, you're not a politician, you don't know anybody in the system.
Now, how friendly are government policies to the average Nigerian?
Well, to some quarters, it will be very friendly. To some other quarters, it might not be too friendly. It depends on the side you're on.
Okay, let's take, for example, the recent directive by the governor of Lagos State that saying that truck drivers should be limited to 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. to operate on the road. And now we see some truck drivers protesting the directive, probably its adverse effects on their business and all the things, especially security at night. And also the fact that he also gave a directive that street hawkers will be taken off the street, and this is clearly the only means of livelihood for some Nigerians. So that's an example.
Truck drivers needs to be taken off the road in broad daylight. They had become a menace in our society. Lagos has a large population. A whole lot of people wake up every morning to go to work. Somebody that lives in Ikorodu Township and works on VI. And you must drive because you have this phobia.
Is it only the trucks or the bad roads we have? Is it the truck that
we
causes
have both the roads. I would say that most of the bad roads, actually the government should have created the roads for those trucks, the heavy duty trucks. Like we have the BRT lane, we have the general, lane for the motorists. Yes, we have bad roads, but you need to see these trucks, the, tanker drivers, all those container, long vehicles on the road. If I am driving, I'm always afraid. I have been very, very afraid of this Lagos-Ibadan Expressway because of all those long trucks that are all over the place. Because I've had the experience of staying on this road from today till tomorrow, not moving an inch, and we had to sleep in the car, and there was nothing, just the trucks on the road. So there should be measures and there should be law guiding the way we use our roads. There is no other person to give the law than the government. So the government, of course, naturally can either be in the good books of some people or some school of thoughts, or in the bad books of some other school of thoughts. Like I said earlier, it still depends on the side you are coming from and the viewpoint you are looking at it from. The street hawkers. You have a child hawking on the highway and a fast vehicle or a vehicle that's lost the brake or whatever, or something goes wrong, just kills the child. Who is to blame? The motorist, the hawker, or the parent of the child, or the government? Who do we blame? We share it appropriately amongst the whole lot. If laws are given out that there should be no street hawking, let's abide. There are other means of livelihood.
Do you think the government really provides those alternative means before coming up with policies?
Yes, I should think so.
What examples do you have to buttress that?
You have the markets there. You have the stores.
How affordable are they for the average Nigerian?
Within the market fold, you have the old street to sell your wares within the market. Of course, there are some people that have the stalls and they share. Like two of us comes together because they say this stall is 50,000 naira, for example, per year. I can afford 25. I got somebody that can also afford 25. And we share it equally amongst ourselves, just to sell our wares, because we want to stay within the law. Now, those whose wares are not even up to 20,000 will come and stay just in front of me and sell. And I will not drive them away, because that is where the local government makes their own. They collect their taxes and whatever from levies. They give out tickets. You are occupying this space. You pay the money. They generate their revenue from there. But you know, some of these market people, they have this belief that if I don't go to the main road, passers-by will not see what I'm selling. I live in Ikorodu Township. And then once it is, say anything from 3:30, even that new road is flooded with marketers displaying their wares everywhere. And they will tell you, somebody that's just passing by, mind your step, or mind this one. But that place is meant for you to walk. It's a walkway. And they put their wares there. They have their stores inside the market, but they will come out. That is the truth. I have worked in the local government, and I have been through this. You keep telling them, stay in your stores. Let those who want to patronize you come into the market. No. So they normally organize orientations for them through their yalojas to talk to them, to stay within their own, environment.
So you're saying the policies of the government are friendly to the common man? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I believe so. That's from my own viewpoint. Okay. As a road user, as somebody that goes out in the morning, I want to get back home on time. Sometimes you leave Ikeja around 5 p.m. and I'm going to Ikorodu. I might end up not getting to Ikorodu until 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m., and there is no accident on the road. It is just those selling markets, staying on the road, passing through the traffic, because you try to avoid them, alongside the motorists that are picking passengers on the highway. It causes a whole load of traffic lockdown.
Now, let's talk about sincerity of governance. You know, sometimes Nigerians will experience a new government saying, okay, the streets will be rid of marketers, there won't be Okada riders to drive in some certain places, there won't be this in this place, there won't be that. And people, initially, it's really hard on them, but Nigerians would adjust. And now when it comes to very close to electioneering period, all of those rules have been
The laws will be relaxed.
And so the question is, why should it really be like this? Should it really be governance for myself or governance for the sake of governance?
I had given the example earlier on. If I believe that when I get elected as a council chairman, I'm going to make so much money, I'll do everything possible. I'll bribe the people. I'll relax the laws. I want to have a return. Maybe I've had a first term and I want to go for a second term. I'll do everything to, collect their votes. It all still boils down to corruption at every sphere of our lives. Sincerity of governance. If we have the right kind of development, like I pay my tax and I use my tax clearance it's demanded for anywhere, I'm able to present it. And then my daughter applies to the ministry and is given fair, treatment. It's been called for the interview and and I'm able to see everything online. I don't need to go behind the scene to see anybody. If there is sincerity of governance and we have the development that we can see and point to, of course, we are growing wiser on a daily basis. Nigerians are wiser.
Now, who can change this paradigm shift, the people or the leaders? Because if the people know that, okay, this is only happening because of the electioneering period, do you think the people have that might to not allow themselves to be taken for granted?
Yes. If the government is able to, erode corruption to the barest minimum.
Can it be eroded?
Let's pray it can be. Let's hope.
Like the governor of Kaduna State will say, if Nigeria does not kill corruption, corruption will kill Nigeria.
And we don't want to die. So we like to outlive corruption and live a sane life. A life of sincerity, a life of development. A life where you'll be proud to be addressed as a Nigerian outside Nigerian shores. We need to, earn that respect back. We need it everywhere. You can only be called a Nigerian here. Ask the people who are in the diaspora. They will tell you they prefer to have the British passports. And proudly they will tell you, I prefer to be addressed as a British citizen. That's your Nigeria. They say it all the time. I hear that every day. They give me a call every day. At least I receive at least 6 calls from the UK every day. What is happening? You people don't want Buhari to get there. Corruption, as you people like corruption. And I will tell them, you are just talking as if you are not a Nigerian. And the person will tell me, no, I'm not a Nigerian. I use my British passport to travel. I can't bring out the green because the respect is not there. You are a Nigerian. Any airport outside Nigeria, everybody will start looking at you suspiciously.
Now, the question is, what do you think informs the switch in character? Because some Nigerians who are here tend to behave very abnormally. And when they go out of the shores of the country, it's more of like a baptism. So what do you think informs this change of attitude?
Because when you are in Rome, you behave like the Romans. The laws that prevails in Nigeria might not apply in another country. And if you flout their laws, Since they are not a lawless country, you pay the penalty.
Isn't it possible to absorb a certain character and behave that way in this system?
That is why we're clamoring for change. So that we'll be able to, say it and mean it. That I want to be a performing governor, and you perform and let people see.
Are the new core of governors or leaders, are they just saying it and meaning it at the time?
Are they in the saying it and meaning it time? Yes, because if they say it and they don't mean it, of course the people will reject them, because we are wiser, that we have the power to put them there. We keep growing wise as we sleep and wake up on a daily basis. I know that if I don't vote, it is less one vote. So if 10,000 people do not vote within a community, you lose out.
All right, let's just quickly take this break. We'll be back on Core Digest. And when we come back, the phone lines will be open for you to also call in to give your question and contribution on the show. The topic is Nigeria in check, change in progress. That's a question for you to answer. Stay with us and we'll be right back.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to our husband that you should keep promise about what you said, and because people are watching you, another election is coming.
Because some people will strong for Yoruba land, will be strong man. We don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say.
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it's time to forgive me.
Please for Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live. And welcome to Core TV Primetime Days. To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then News. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.